everybody that's listening has had a splendiferous week and that you're looking forward to what's going on. We're not just going to tell you what's going on but we got to get you beyond the walls where the people are.
That's what, Jay, a lot of people don't understand that. We sometimes we're just, stuck in the comfort of our comfort zones, be it behind the walls of the church or behind the walls of our house. One of the things we've been doing for a long time is trying to get people excited and motivated to get beyond, to help somebody. Talk about the importance of our listeners getting beyond the walls.
Well, it's very important, especially in the time in which we live right now. We don't need any turtles. And, generally what turtles do is when they become engaged with something that's unfamiliar to them or something that they're afraid of, they tuck and go in. We need some people that are ready, willing to roll up their sleeves and to be helpful. There's a great picture that the late artist Ernie Barnes he drew of one man that was on the fence and the other man was underneath the fence, but he was reaching up for some help, and the man on the fence was reaching down to help him. And that's what we need right now. As a people, as a culture, we need to get out of our little individualisms and think that we can do this. It's your problem and it's not my problem. No, I beg to differ. We as a people, it has become all of our problems. And as one of the songs that the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Would sing, if I can help somebody.
Help somebody along this way.
Along this way, then my living
would not be in vain.
Not be in vain. And I think that that's where we need to get back to, helping each other, each one help one.
Man, listen, Jay, I'm so happy that you on the ride this week. Again, I thank and praise God for you. You have been a partner in the movement for a long time, and I'm just so happy of all that God is doing. We're going to go into that a little later on, but youngsters, y'all people, us folks, wonderful people, we had a entertaining week this week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot was going on this week, right?
Pretty interesting week.
Pretty interesting. I mean, I'm talking about the slap heard across the world.
He slapped.
Slap heard across the world. Listen, about 6 years ago, for the listening audience, I'm glad Reverend J. Mo is here to bear witness. We organized through the Civil Rights Organization, National Action Network, the Oscars So White boycott. We did that to bring awareness and protest the Oscars, which that particular year was, for Hollywood's sake, African-American films was really leading at the box office. I mean, we had some spectacular performances, but at the end of the day, y'all, nobody got nominated. Nobody that looked like me or you got nominated. And we led the Oscars So White boycott. It was hashtag Oscars So White, and we brought awareness to this tragedy. I mean, we led a protest in front of the Oscars, the day of the Oscars, just to really let them know that we plan to shine a light on this dark situation. And, what came afterwards was a whole lot of changes to the Oscar Awards. So that shows you, first of all, that activism is so important sometimes to bring light to these dark situations. But I think Chris Rock would probably say, Reverend J. Mo, that maybe the Oscars was now too black. No, that was a joke, y'all.
No, but the truth of the matter was, in setting this whole thing up for the Oscars So White, one of the things that was very important was we didn't just do it on Oscar Day. We were down there at the Beverly Hilton hotels, and we were not allowed on the properties, but we said, we may not be on the properties, but we can be right where the people have to come by us.
That's right.
And we stood on either side of the entryway, and we had our signs up, and we even had a mock model of the Oscars. It was gold. It was white.
We painted it white.
We painted it white, and there were many people that came through, actors, directors, and people that were in Hollywood that applauded the fact that we were taking a stance against the injustices that were going on and the lack of inclusion, as well as the lack of diversity. And the diversity starts from the top to the bottom, not just the actors and actresses, but also the people that are the decision makers. And one of the things that is often overlooked, this is America, and it is supposed to be, they said, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. But I echo the late Tupac Shakur.
What Tupac say?
He said, "Wake me when I'm free."
Hey.
Yes, sir.
But listen, you know, the main topic, and I know you all at home that's watching us is like, man, why y'all talking about the Oscars so white? Well, we want to highlight the power of the church, how the church got together and really changed this system. I mean, Oscars put so many different things in place that led us to the night that took place on Sunday. And the slap heard across the world. Now, I know, you know, I've been reading so much. I mean, Will Smith and Chris Tucker
Chris Rock.
Excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying Chris Tucker. Chris Rock are two of my favorite actors and personalities within our community. And there's been a lot of backlash from individuals about, you know, what Will Smith did. There's been a lot of backlash in reference to what Chris Rock said. And I want to really hear your voices and kind of hear you all, Ty and Ari, Sheree, and Kay. I want to know what was your thoughts in reference to this? And I'm going to talk about it a little bit from my end. Ty?
William. I tell you. This was actually shocking. It was shocking information for me. And listen, let's forget about the fame. Let's forget about, the titles and, the accolades that, Will Smith come with. And looking from a point of humanity, I feel like he snapped.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then we're all not perfect, and from my opinion, because we're all entitled to our own opinions, I feel like everything was authentic. I feel like everything was real because I kept hearing a lot of people say it wasn't real, it was staged. Yeah. But when we saw Jada's reaction on, camera, we can already see it wasn't no fake stuff going on. So I believe that, when Will saw her reaction, he snapped and he walked on stage and, slapped Chris Rock. And I believe that he should have not did it because the violence is never the answer. Anyways, right. I believe that he should have just, if that was me defending my wife, I would have took stage right or stage left to see, where he was coming from, and then, talk to him privately in a private setting and be like, what was your motive on this? Was it any malice involved or anything like that? So, it was crazy, but I don't think it went down the right way. I don't think Will should have did that.
Yeah,
his actions wasn't justifiable.
Yeah. Ari, Sheree?
Let me first echo what Ty just said. I definitely don't believe that was staged. I do believe that was 100% like you had poked the bear a couple of too many times, and so he had just kind of had it. But do I think that we could have went about it another way? Definitely. From Chris Rock's perspective, I did read in an article where he said that he was unaware that Jada had alopecia. So, I mean, not saying that it was justifiable, but then to go and kind of play devil's advocate to what you were saying, Ty, about the whole malice thing, it couldn't have been malice at that point if he was just unaware of the condition type of thing. So the conversation, like you were saying, I believe that probably was necessary prior to the slapping, prior to the big public scene. But if that was going to help his show sell out, on a money aspect, if it was going to help his show that he had on Wednesday sell out because everybody thought he was going to get to his show and talk about the slap, then marketing-wise, He was a brilliant man. He was a brilliant man marketing wise, but I definitely think it could have. Well, I'll say Chris Rock could have been a little more considerate in his jokes, just not really understanding because that's a sensitive topic. It could have been anything.
Yeah, and and the beauty of it is, I just love listening to your views and your opinions about it because as I read, I was torn in between both because I'm fans of both. Chris Rock and Will Smith. I love comedy. I love laughing. I
hated that. It was them too.
One of the best
Right.
one of the best things we used to do at National Action Network was we used to have a night at the J Spot. And when they used to look at J Mo and seeing how clean he was, they used to call him every type of word, and we used to laugh. That used to bring so much laughter. Kay, what you think about what took place?
Honestly, both what my co-host said, yes, it could have been held like a different way, but honestly, with me, I thought it was funny.
It was funny. I
It was
laughed.
funny.
I ain't gonna hold you. I
But
laughed.
I didn't think it
Violence was
fake.
funny?
No, it wasn't the fact that violence. It was funny. I can't explain it, but it was just.
We talking
funny.
about Kay.
I
Right,
watched
right.
it. Okay,
I
so
laugh
I
at
watched it in
everything.
slow motion. That's what made me laugh
Yeah.
because I slowed it down. I screen recorded it and slowed it down.
Yeah, when
But-
I don't think it was
But
staged.
the thing that comedy is comedy, fun is fun. The sensitivity of her condition is
Yeah,
one.
that's the one.
But even in that, I saw opportunity because the same thing is what he said was a segue into an opening for another movie.
Right.
Right.
That's why I was
Because
gonna go into it.
because I didn't look at it, but I saw the aftermath and still been looking at it, and my mind went immediately to the fact that Demi Moore, who played G.I. Jane, and the disparity between how women are not viewed as strong individuals, and how she saved her crew,
Right.
even though she lost her life. And I was immediately thrown to St. Elmo's Street.
You got to tell them what St. Elmo Street is, Reverend.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Because I was,
Okay.
I'm like,
I was,
I don't know.
I'm
here.
I was a
I'm
baby.
here, but I don't
I was a
know.
baby.
I was
I was a
like-
baby when St. Elmo.
I said, I'm here.
I understand. I'm getting ready to go there.
Heat of the night next.
Yeah.
I went to
Little
Sesame
history
Street.
lesson.
St. Elmo Street,
Right,
not
I'm
Sesame
like,
Street,
Sesame
right?
No,
I was on
that's
Sesame.
Sesame. But this is the point that I'm making.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
St. Elmo Street that Spike Lee did a movie was historical. And he's got some very historical cast in there. And these are the stories of what blacks have done in the service that never get talked about. I just was Sunday at a wreath laying of the 6888, which was there were women, black women that were sent overseas that worked in deplorable conditions, but they were made to sort mail in order to keep the morale up of the troops. So if it wasn't for them, again, we have played such a very intricate part, and this is World War II. I wasn't born then, but I know I'm older, but I ain't that old. But the fact that there are historical components in it, and I was like, yeah, okay. They showed Demi Moore, but what about the black women that have served? What about the black women, what they have done and the contributions they have made, and they never get recognized? Those women came back from World War II, didn't get a hero's welcome, didn't get a parade or nothing.
Wow.
And these are stories that they have kept from us. So Will, in doing what he did and calling it defending his wife, it could have been done in a whole different manner.
A whole different way.
Let me-
Himself,
let
that
me-
was the thing to me. You
Yeah.
laugh. Like,
Yeah, no. When he
I
made the
think when he
statement,
saw
When he
Jada's
saw-
reaction,
yeah.
he went, and I don't know if any of you all. I got a chance to read Will Smith's autobiography, and in that it was a very startling tale of how his mother was domestically abused. And in the midst of that domestically abuse, he remained quiet.
Yeah.
And so I think in the midst of all the stress, the pressures of the world that we experience, I'm not condoning what Will Smith did, but we seen that the pressure got a hold of him.
Yeah.
And then to piggyback on what you said, also their relationship has been open to
It has
the
been
public,
public.
Right.
negatively,
Right.
in a negative eye. I can say, I'm trying to get these words together, and I think he just probably snapped on all that.
Yeah.
You know,
And
even though
when
he
you
should have took his anger out on August, but
Right.
but when you that's a whole different story. But
Here we
you know,
go.
at the end, we saw you know, I saw a lot of things going through social media. I heard, you know, a lot of the sisters were like, "Hooray! I want a Will Smith type of man that's going to fight for me." You know, I've heard other people, you know, condemn, say that this brought them trauma. What was it in your reaction? I mean, do you condemn him for what he did, or do you think that it was okay for what he did as a Christian?
I don't condemn him, but I also don't 100% agree. So you know how women are going hooray, I want a man to defend me.
And a lot
Defend
of
me,
them,
but don't embarrass me.
But a
You
lot
feel
of
me?
a lot of them.
Right.
Let me say this.
Defend me, but don't embarrass me.
You don't embarrass me. And in that case, just to show, or for instance, you never know, somebody could look at me like, dang, you don't know how to control yourself in public.
Right.
That I would rather you not put that type of light when we already have a negative eye. We already have enough going for us on the negative side. Don't add fuel to the fire.
Well, I guess like you said earlier, in reference to the bringing awareness, I guess the Red Table Talk is going to be a hot view when.
Oh, it's gonna
they
be
all
good.
get on, right?
It's gonna be good.
I
That
mean,
red table talk gonna be good.
What you
and
think,
I
Ty?
never watched it, so.
What you think about?
What was the question?
Should he be condemned, or do you support what he did? Do you accept?
I definitely don't support what he did. Like I mentioned, he could have. There was so many other ways he could have handled the situation. And then to reference back to your comment, what would a Christian do? Y'all know I come with the scriptures. I don't play. Going to Proverbs. Everybody open the Bibles.
sir.
Proverbs
Get
16:32.
your Bible.
He who was slow to anger is better than the mighty. So I
is.
think he showed lack of self-control in that moment. I think that he stepped on his own moment, to be honest with you. And like you said earlier, he was going through so many things. Like when he said, when he stood up and gave his speech for his nominee, best actor, you could tell in his speech it was more than just a joke.
So let me say this to you. When I turned on the Oscars, I just got back in from dinner. I turned on the Oscar, and Will Smith win. And I'm sitting there, Reverend J, and I'm like, why are they giving him so much time? I mean, I see him crying and doing all types of other stuff, and I'm like, don't they give you 30 seconds? I mean, they literally gave him 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
You know what I mean? And I'm hearing him apologize, and he apologized to the Oscars. I'm like, you apologize to the Oscars so white? What's going on? What's your thought, Jay?
Well, the thing that to me was just so horrific, and I have to go back historically from the fact that what did Hattie McDaniels get an Oscar? She was a maid. What did Cuba Gooding Jr. get an Oscar for? He was unfortunately, he was a dumb jock.
A football player.
Football player. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
What did Halle Berry get her Oscar for?
Was that Monster Ball?
Monsters Ball. Make me feel good. What did
Denzel.
No, we haven't even got.
Oh, okay.
to him
I'm
yet,
sorry.
but,
Go.
But
Call the roll.
yeah, I'm roll calling now.
Call them up. I mean, one by
I mean,
one.
you know, what did Terrence Howard hustle and flow? He was a
Hard
pimp.
out here for a pimp.
Yeah, you know, and then we get to Denzel, and I think what infuriated me more than that is he has done so much incredible work.
Right.
And not only did not get a nomination, but didn't get an Oscar until he was a dirty cop.
Wow.
And Monique.
Yeah, and Monique, she gets one
Abusive
for
mother.
abusive mother. So to me, the projection of Hollywood is that we can't, if we're not a maid, if we're not a dumb jock, if we not abusive parent, if we not what they love to think that all black women are just sex objects or a dirty cop. And outside of Sir Sidney Poitier, you can't really see one real significant role that depicts us,
Yeah.
who we are. We are more than what Hollywood puts on the screen.
on.
We are brilliant people.
Yes,
We
sir.
have made this country what it is today. We built on our backs of blood, sweat, and tears. The church. How come we haven't won nothing for a church? And what the church has been, the church has been the institution, the backbone, has been the centerpiece of the community, and all of these great people have come out and through or around some church. And it was Denzel that went, and I think that was a classic Denzel moment. He told him, when you're at your highest point,
The devil.
that's when the devil is coming. And the scripture immediately came to me, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his soul out of trouble.
My Lord. And Kaylin, what was your thoughts in reference? I mean, do you condemn him or do you accept that type of?
I wouldn't accept it, but I don't, like Ari said, I don't, disagree on it. Because it was just, he was in the moment. Like if we said, he was in the moment, and he reacted, and he felt that was right at that moment, and which he did, go up there and apologize for his actions. So I don't really condemn him, but I don't disagree on what.
And then I think at the end, I think it's a no-win situation.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is going to be something that's going to be talked about for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
2022 Oscar, Chris Rock was slapped. You know, it's going to be talked about. The video is not going to go anywhere. It's been duplicated all across the world. And you know, I just think it's a no-win type of situation. The question is, where do we go from here? What do we do? Do we continue to bring awareness of the diversion and inclusion problem in Hollywood? Because it's still a problem, right, Jay?
Yes, it is.
I mean, not just in front of the screen, but behind the screen.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think another tragic situation was for the first time they had a black producer.
Will Packer.
You know, and
And
so
The great Will
African
Packer.
American women hosts.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Two of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you have this, black experience. You know, it says, okay, they can do this. You know, we've gone through all these years of trying to say that we can, and one of the things that came immediately out afterwards was one of the white counterparts said that this was not Soul Train. You know, so I mean,
Or the BET
the
Award.
BET
Or
Award,
the Source 1997 Award.
right?
Yeah, they've been throwing all of that.
So everything, that could be negative, they put that to wash away all of the good. Nobody is talking about good, and I think one of the things that we have to portray and to speak on is the fact that you all have held us down so long,
Right.
and we're just showing that we are human. We're not the savages that you have all portrayed. Because at the end of the day, none of us have gone to no city and burnt none of them down. Tulsa, Slocum, Redwood. We have never done that. We have not drug and burned any or bombed any schools or churches. We have not gone to major events, get checked into a hotel like in Las Vegas and kill innocent people. We are not Columbine. We have not gone to any school. They downplay that and want the sympathy of the world. But look at what it took to get a reaction. God had to allow a pandemic to come that made everybody stay home
Yes, sir.
and saw how they have been treating us through George Floyd.
My Lord, man, and I say this to you. Any closing remarks on this?
I just wanted to
let me say this: that apologies was given, apologies was issued by Will Smith, but Chris Rock has not accepted the apology publicly as of yet, or we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So, what is your closing remarks on it?
I just wanted to bring light back to where Ty was talking about scripture and everything. I wanted to bring light to the fact that we do have a responsibility to hold our brothers up. And so what's not being publicized is when Tyler Perry, and I believe that was Denzel, pulled him to the side to have a conversation. Those are the things that need to be brought to the light as well, rather than us keep circulating the video. More so look at how he did have brothers to be able to hold him up, to have that conversation with him, because that is our obligation. When you were speaking from the Christianity aspect, that's our obligation, is to hold our brother up, to hold our brothers accountable, to be that person for them, to not condemn them, but to have a conversation and get at that understanding. So I just wanted to bring light to that fact.
Yeah. Kayla, you have any more to say about it?
No, I'll just.
Any closing remarks on that statement?
On
the Oscars?
Oscars.
Because I got one more topic.
Just we said everything.
Ty?
Just be mindful of your emotions. This is with anybody. It's just not with, the Oscars, but be mindful of your emotions because they travel so far. And listen, like we mentioned on the last podcast, for every action, there is a reaction.
Yes, sir.
So just be mindful of that things. And I'm done. And I can't wait to see G.I. Jane too.
There you go. There you go.
And listen,
There you go.
when I was a kid, it wasn't, G.I. Jane, she was all right. So there wasn't nothing ugly about G.I.
So I was
Jane.
going to say, G.I. Jane was fine.
Yeah, leading all the men.
Hey, listen, I want to just say again, at the end of the day, it's no win situation, but at the end, we need to continue to just pray for all parties involved.
Exactly.
It's so much commentary on this, but as a Christian, we know what we have to do. We got to continue to pray, got to watch, fight, and pray, and continue to seek God in all our efforts. And be careful, because anger has a way of creeping up on you real smoothly. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. And so it's important that we recognize again that, things have a way of sneaking up on you, especially as you're going beyond the wall and you're helping people. The devil would do whatever he can to cancel your witness.
Yes,
He would
sir.
do whatever he can to cancel your witness. He will send people that you thought will be with you forever to try to cancel your witness. I am a living witness to that. The devil will try to cancel your witness. And so we are grateful again to have you today with us, Reverend J. Mo, and we are so, again, we're blessed for you to be here in the studio with us today on this April Fool's Day. And listen, I brought you here for a reason, brother.
Yeah,
I brought you here for a reason.
Because there's a because.
And the reason, amen. And what many of you might not know is that the Reverend Dr. Jonathan Mosley, he is the Western Regional Director of the National Action Network. We give a shout out to National Action Network every single week because, again, that's an organization that has literally birthed me into the activist that I am today. And I'm so grateful to have a leader here on the West Coast that's doing some amazing work throughout the West Coast. He followed my leadership, and he has carried and has literally advanced the causes of NAN all throughout this Western region, and I'm so happy to have you with us today. Talk to us and tell the people a little bit about the ministry of the National Action Network.
Well, thank you, Dr. Toulis. I wouldn't be here except through divine providence when you asked me after my mother transitioned to get involved, because at that time there were a lot of things going on personally in my life. So the National Action Network became a very important catalyst because of what had happened in my family personally through police brutality, police murder. My grandfather spent 27 years in prison in Texas, which is one of the worst places you could ever go to prison in for a crime he never committed. And a white man at his on his deathbed confessed and told that my grandfather was not the perpetrator. So everything has a reason to bring you into divine purpose and place you on this journey. So in following and seeing your motivation, your passion, and your heart toward the people and toward the community, and seeing the injustices and you being on the front line, pushing the agenda, going to court, going to the city councils, and challenging politicians, which was
We did a lot of that, right?
oh yes, and even from that, within the community, being out on the streets on Friday night, not in the comfortable communities, but in some of the most dangerous communities. One of your statements that you had, more graduations and less funerals, and that really was an important component in keeping motivated toward what we're doing across this Los Angeles, which, they always want to talk about how bad it is, but they don't want to talk about the people that are doing good.
Yeah.
And so for that, we definitely want to thank you as a young man.
Yes, sir.
You could have been doing anything. You could have been anywhere else, but you were out there bringing awareness of what's going on, changing policies.
That's what it was about,
Yeah,
right?
going to Sacramento and standing before legislators, and if they didn't change then, they ultimately changed.
From demonstration to legislation.
Demonstration to legislation. So it has been a very exciting point in my life, and I wanted to do everything I could, whatever God gives me time to do, and to pass it on.
Well, let me say this to you, Rev. I thank God for Him bringing you in, and you was a faithful lieutenant, and now you're the faithful general. Now you're my leader, and we're thankful for all that you're doing, man. And
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell you all a story. One day, I know it's April Fool's Day, but listen, it was one particular day, me and Reverend Jay, and I'm gonna go into the convention because that's what he's here for. But it was a day we was fighting for 15.
Yeah.
And me and Jay, we was leading a protest, and we had about 10,000 people with us, and we was moving, and we got to the street. And we decided to take over an intersection. And so we was there. We was protesting. We was, no justice, no peace, you all. And the police came over the system and said, "You got 2 minutes to clear this intersection." I said, "Jay, I'm going in, Jay." And me and the fast food workers, we locked arms, and Jay locked arms. They said, "You got 30 seconds to clear the street." And I turned around, I looked, and I saw Jay. He was in the audience, and he said, I'll be with you when you get out, Pastor, because I gotta go get Z. Remember that? I gotta go get Z, but I'll be there when you get out. But I just say that was just a funny thing. I went to jail, and lucky he didn't go with me because I was in jail for like 10 hours that day. But
I had to call the lawyers and everybody
yeah,
else.
I was like, I called Jay about 15 times, collect, like, man, get me out of here. They talking to themselves. But listen, I say that to say you've been an excellent leader, man, and I'm thankful for all that you're doing with National Action Network,
Thank you,
with the
brother.
expansion of the organization all throughout this Western region. But this week, reason you're here is because next week, we will be starting our annual convention. Talk to us, those who are watching. You can watch the convention if you're not going to New York like myself and our producer, Pastor Howard and Jay Moe. You can watch the convention on Facebook or
Facebook Live, yes.
YouTube.
YouTube.
All the sessions will be live. Talk to us about the convention. That's why you're here.
Yes, the 31st conference of the National Action Network to be convening in the city of New York. You can go on, and I will mention it again, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. From the police reform, fortunately, it takes a long time. I didn't even know this, that lynching was still legal in this country. and so we're waiting now. Hopefully, by the time this airs, the president would have signed the anti-lynching bill that we've been fighting for, the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill.
He actually signed it 2 days ago.
Okay, so that's in effect. So a lot of times, I know we're in this instant environment where things are done rapidly. Things that are done goes viral in 10 to 12 seconds, 14 seconds. But then there's those things that take a while. So we'll be dealing with police reform. There'll be a women's session, and we have our great evening event, which is going to be highlighted with great individuals there. You can go on National Action Network Los Angeles Facebook chapter, and you'll see what we're doing and who's going to be on those different days. We have a women's luncheon that is going to be, fantastic, with who is going to be speaking. We're still pushing for the nomination of congressional woman.
The Supreme Court.
Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
Supreme Court woman. So, we're not just going to be there funning and having a good time, even though we're going to have some fun and a good time, but we're going to be dealing with policies and legislation and things that we need to be keep our eyes on. Please, and I encourage all of you listeners and those of you that will tell family and friend, the midterms are coming up.
Yes, sir.
And it's critical what the Republicans are planning. And what they always do when we get into office, they say the midterm comes up and we don't vote. And it goes to show you that we're talking about voting rights as well, pushing that. That's still stuck in the crawl of the Republicans. But we have to vote. And you notice when, First Lady Obama said, when we vote, we win.
We win.
And, for all these other candidates, they always want to come where in order to get our vote?
To us.
To the church.
To the church.
So the church is a very important component. It is very vital, but it's more important that we know who we're voting for and putting in office and making sure that we get out and vote.
So the convention is April 6th through the 9th, all next week. We ask that you go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net to go and be engaged and be involved. Again, National Action Network is a civil rights organization that literally gave me opportunity. And with that opportunity, we have a Reverend J. Moe and others who are taking the lead, Lori Cadenas, Robert Bush, Decoy Porter, all of these individuals. And we want to say thank you. Thank you to all of our listeners today for joining us for Beyond the Wall. Whatever you do, whenever you go, tell somebody that it's time to get up and go beyond the wall.
Yes, sir.
Y'all say bye to everybody.
Bye,
until
you
next
guys.
week.
Bye.
God bless
Thank
you.
y'all.
God bless you.
Have a good one. Y'all see y'all next
Grace
week.
and peace.